Luke chapter 24 from verse 28. They came near the village where they were going, and he gave the impression that he was going further. But they urged him, stay with us. Let me tell you something about this story. If you check there, we're on Luke 24, after Jesus is risen. These people that are with Jesus into this village, they don't know that the guy they are talking to is Jesus. They don't know. They just think this guy is Romeo or someone. It's so funny. These people have been in a journey for miles, but they never had to ask questions. What is your name? Even them, their names are not stated there. They bring a man into their house, but they don't even know whom they've brought into their house. They only know after a miracle takes place that this one is Jesus. How many of us today have received Jesus, but even the same men we have been walking with, we don't know? Till today, you are shouting Jesus, but the men you are shouting, you don't know. It is an error for us to worship a God we do not know. But they urged him, stay with us, because it's almost evening. And now the day is almost over. So he went in to stay with what? I love something about Jesus. If you bring him to your house, he comes. If you invite Jesus into your finances, he comes. You invite him into your marriage, he comes. You invite him into your ministry, he comes for sure. It was as he reclined at the table with them that he took bread. The unknown guy, Romeo, who is just called to stay in their house, is now breaking bread. You see, the problem with many of us, we have partially surrendered to God. You see, when we talk about salvation, salvation is total surrendering to God. In other words, you see, the problem with us Christians, we surrender our husbands, we surrender our children, we surrender our lives to God, but there are some things we don't surrender to God. And have you ever discovered that the things that you don't surrender to God, they're the ones that give you the most problem? They freeze. What do? Do you see what happened? What was in his hand did what? Fell down. So when we talk about surrendering, we're talking about you lifting up your hands. When God looks at you, he doesn't want to see anything in your hand. That's total surrendering. So, you are not even holding your marriage. You're not holding your wife. You're not holding your finances. You're not holding anything. You've said, God, it all belongs to you. Because truly it belongs to him. Now, some of us, what do? Look at this. Freeze. We hold. This side, God says, okay, you've given me your marriage, but you're still holding on to your finances. You've given me your children, but you're still holding on to your own personal life. You are more concerned about you more than you're concerned about me. So you're not surrendering. And God then says, I will solve what you're not holding. But what you are holding, I will leave it. Listen, God is fixing things you surrendered and leaving things you are still holding on to because you've not fully surrendered. Some of you, you think you can run your own marriages instead of God being the one to run your marriage. You see, when you do business, it is not about you having a degree or diploma or master's or whatsoever in business management. No. In as much as you know, just like Moses, take off your sandals because the place that you are in, it is holy ground. What are sandals standing for? Knowledge. Take out what you know and let me, God, teach you what I know. So a good business person, for them to make it, they should throw their knowledge and say, God, feed me with your knowledge. Is somebody hearing me? Look at them and say, totally surrender. You need to totally surrender. You can sit down. Let's give praise for Pastor Sam.